Hello! For this activity, I will be talking about normative principles, practice seminar, SFX simulators, and something else. Didactic is known as a process where the idea is to find strategies to teach creatively by employing some tools that help the learning teaching process. This is described as a science where the teacher has to intervene with the main object of increasing the impact of learning in each student. When we refer to didactic of English, relate to the teacher's development in the foreign language with the ability to solve problems and create different tracks to get to the student in the teaching of L2. Hello, my name is Camila, and for this activity I made a scheme that is divided in three topics. The first one is about the course description. The second one is about the relational agreement of pedagogical and educational practice. And the third one are the guidelines for the pedagogical and educational practice. On the first part, we find the learning purpose, that is finding spaces for the approach of a foreign language. Also the phases, that are five, where we identify the principle of the course, observation, participation, practices, and the achievement of the courses. Also, the two units. On this first part, we find the duties we have and the articles that came with it. This is divided in 9 chapters. First, we find the definition and purpose of the course. 2. On this point, we talk about the generalities and definition. 3. On this case, the information is about curricular aspects of the root of pedagogical and education practice. 4. In here are the principles of action a teacher must have on the practices. 5. Definition of the academic network of the practices. 6. In here is all the information for the preliminary that we must do if we want to start the practices. 7. This is about the monitoring and evaluation of the practices. And 8. This is where we find the rights of the teacher. 9. This is about the certification of the practices when we finish this process. On the third part of the scheme, we find the general guidelines of the pedagogical and educational practices of the School of Science of Education. Also, we have the information about the normative references that are given by the Ministry of Education from 1994 and 2020. Also, the principle of action, that are 5, and these are guides by ethics and some values to make the practical process with success. Then explain the route that we must do if we want to start the practices, and also provide us information about the pre-practice seminary, that is a strategy to seek reflection through the process and give us information about SAPET, where explain we are going to have some teachers that are going to help us with the process. And finally, about the simulator, that is a digital resource of learning, and this is applied on different scenarios, and this comes with 32 hours of practices, device on observation, participation, exapec, and didactic resources given by us. What do I think about this information?
In my opinion, it's really important that the university gives us these spaces where we can study the normative, the principles, the duties, and the right we have as a student of the university. And also it's important, and I think that is a good strategy, that we have some tutors that are going to be with us through this process. Sometimes when we are beginning in a new context, we could feel lost and we could be like we don't know what to do, but the university gives us these encounters of SAPEX, for example, where we're going to be guided by some tutors, and also the person that is going to be with us in the process of the practices. And also I think that it's important to know all the information about the steps that we must follow if we want to start the practices, because it is important to start without any mistakes from the beginning. The ideal is to do the things and the job the best possible, and I think that it's great that we could have this opportunity since really early, when we can observe and participate at the same time with the teacher and the students, because that's how we could be comfortable with the contexts that are going to be our daily when we get graduated.